right, stop what you're doing, cause I'm about to ruin the image and the style that you're used to.
Hey, yo, listen to Mikey Barxxx.
Not the aftertaste
On the Wine Night Podcast.
Please.
So this one is about a week in. Like I was mad because I thought of it right after like we recorded before. And I was like, fuck, I should have said this shit last week.
I bet you were. You probably was steaming earlier.
Right, but I was like, I'm gonna let this shit fester for a week. But because we said we wasn't gonna be in this bitch forever. Because I can go on and on and on about this shit. My rant, for lack of a better term, is going to be about celebrity worship. And how celebrity worship and how we as consumers invest in poor quality content simply for the fact that a celebrity's name is tied to it.
Let me tell you something. Yep. Ooh. See, even Nugget didn't even agree with you. You better not be talking about Beyonce, Noel's Carter. You better not be talking about J to the Z. I don't want to hear nothing about Lizzo. I don't want to hear nothing about Meg. I don't want to hear about Nicki, Chadwick. I'll throw Cardi in there, Lupita, Denzel. Who else? Kendrick.
Anybody else? Anybody else you want to add that's clearly been proven and shown that they have talent?
Yeah, I was just making sure we was drawing. I just want to know. I just want people to know we are drawing a very stark line in the sand, right?
I'm going to explain. Cool. I'm going to explain. Right? I want to talk about how. Put it this way. All right. A big thing now is we'll take podcasting. Right? Okay. Podcasts are popping up every 5 seconds. I'm seeing how now as basketball is not when the quarantine and everything happened, the pandemic started and everything like that, people weren't able to play. So what started happening? People started picking up other ventures and things like that, right?
Right.
And one thing everybody wanted to do was create a podcast, right?
Okay.
Or podcast or whatever the case may be. And what got me frustrated, and I think I had talked to you about this, was there's poor quality stuff. People are just leveraging their relationships.
Oh.
So at the end of the day, we're not really watching the podcasters or listening for the podcasters. We're just listening to hear from the guest. So at that point, is that really actually good content, good quality stuff? So why do they get the 1,000 views? Why do they get the 1,000,000 views? Why do they get the ads? Why do they get those different things, right? Because we're over here busting, us as up and coming people, we're busting our ass putting out quality stuff, right? Studying the art of conversation, studying the art of interviewing, figuring out how to make our social media pages look, enticing, all these different things. Mm-hmm. Because other people just throw some money. You lost your mind? And they do all these things, and they just throw some money in and be like, boom, I got a podcast now. And it's like they're terrible conversationalists, terrible at asking questions, have done no research on the person that's about to come on, and they do none of these things. It's not me saying I want to be like them. My issue is with the consumer. Why is it that you want to take relationship advice from someone whose life is nothing like yours, but you won't listen to your own peers because they only have 200 or 300 followers? You're going to have to let that go.
So your argument is more like, why you follow people? Are we following people just for the sake of following people?
Yeah, celebrity worship. We will follow someone. We will tune into something. We will, whatever the case may be, simply because a name is tied to it that we like. Regardless of the fact that it's poor content, quality is poor, poorly set up, it's poorly done, whatever the case may be, we'll give it a try.
Off air, I have to know who you're talking about, but it's okay. I'll come to you off air because shots are being.
Nah, it's just. It's because at the end, and here's what people don't realize: when you start to buy into celebrity worship, you're cutting yourself out the market. If you're a journalist oh, you want to be a journalist, right? But then you subscribe to this idea of just because someone's a celebrity, they have the right to now become an interviewer.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're cutting yourself out the market because you just went to school for no reason.
I mean, it's a catch-22, right? Sometimes there are just people want to hear from and that they care about, right? Like Michelle Obama is fucking Michelle Obama. So I'd probably want to just tune into her podcast and listen to it too, because it's Michelle Obama. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, woo. But hopefully, like you said, the quality of it is good. I don't know. I think, like you said, in general, it's one of those things that people are just kind of entering this realm, right? They're realizing how lucrative it could be. It's a new field to a certain extent, right? Like podcasting isn't new. However, it's become very popular within the last 5 years, I would say. And so maybe 10. And so, I don't know, you see the shift and people want to hear what they have to say just in general. Like, especially if Beyonce comes out of nowhere, right? Or even saying with Michelle Obama, Michelle wasn't talking that talk, like the 8 years that Barack was in there. Like, she didn't really give no tea, right? But if she gonna spill it on this podcast, like, I might want to hear what she's got to say, or I might want to hear what she has to say about policy, or I might want to hear what she says about, like, what's happening in the White House right now. Like, that shit I want to hear because I look up to who this person is. Like, I don't know if we can judge people for looking up to those individuals. Now, you can judge their work. If it's shitty, it's shitty. But, I mean, you'd be surprised how many people listen to, like, T.I.'s podcast, right? Or Drink Champs, right? It's just one of those, like, it's just one of those things. What are you going to do? If they like, and they want to hear from those people.
And I think that's valid. Like, I should have clarified from the beginning. My issue isn't that, because that's true. You're right. Like, if I click on stuff because I see certain people's names, I'm like, oh, I want to hear from them. I want to hear this specifically. I love the Drink Chance podcast simply for the vibe that it provides. You know what I mean? Me as someone who's from New York, but I'm not home anymore. So it makes me feel like, I'm home again, right? However, for you, it's not really your cup of tea because you just don't like the way that he interviews. You don't like the way that he holds conversation and stuff like that. So it's not for you. But I think it has a very unique and distinct style that I appreciate. Like you said, Michelle Obama has a podcast. If I'm interested in I read her book. She didn't study to become an author, but she could put out a book, and the book was great. I think that's valid. My issue is with this whole just everybody's an interviewer now. I think that's what it really is. I mean,
like, we can argue what it means. We can argue what it means to even be an interview with that. I don't know. Like, going back to Drink Champs, I watch it. I understand it's supposed to be a vibe, but I don't get anything from it. I don't really learn too much from it. I don't really know what the purpose of it is. Like, I understand people drink. I understand people smoke, and they just have a good time in general, right? Which is that's great. But based off of what you would say, I would say, like, then yeah, he's just putting out shitty content just for the sake of, like, putting out shitty content. Like, I sat there and called different people that they knew. If this was all audio, I'd be like, I just sat here for 30 minutes and heard nothing. Like, I heard you call people on the phone. And then it wasn't even like y'all called people and had, like, enlightening conversations. You was just like, oh, I wanted them to know I could call you. That's fun, but I'm not getting anything from it. But you enjoy it, right? So I wouldn't knock you for, well, I mean, I have, but I wouldn't knock other people for enjoying shit like that just for the sake of enjoying it. Like, at what point, I think there's a difference between worshiping celebrities, right? And that is definitely a conversation versus I'm just enjoying being here right now. Because I definitely have had podcasts where I'm just happy to fucking be there, right? Or I'm listening to music and I'm just happy to fucking be there. The music is not that great. The content wasn't fire. Like, it wasn't the most enlightening thing, but I'm just happy to be here. Now, when you get to the point where you're, like, worshiping them, like nothing they can do is wrong, for all those people who out there love Kanye, I think that's when we can talk about, like, are you really just caping because it's the person, or are you, like, out here really believing that this was the best thing ever because that last couple albums was trash. And we just got to be honest about shit like that, to be completely real with you. So
it just shows up in so many different things. Like at the end, like when you think about, like, again, and I'll go to a bunch of different fields. Like with podcasting, right? To me, a podcast is about the ability to talk and communicate and entertain through conversation and stuff like that. How many people would actually be able to hold an hour-long conversation with no guests? Right?
not a whole lot of people.
Right? How many people, like, I see a lot of these, like, for me, I'm a huge sneaker person. Celebrity worship makes it impossible to get fucking sneakers because people could drop, motherfucking Travis Scott could just wear a pair of black Converses and them shit would sell out tomorrow. A pair of black Converse, that shit would sell out tomorrow. And it's simply just because of celebrity worship. And it's like, it's just deadly. We start to, you know, we're like, oh my God. Then celebrity worship ends up becoming like disappointment when your favorite celebrity does something. You're like, oh my God, I'm heartbroken. It's like, bro, like, why are you so tied to this person? Like, you don't know them from a hole in the wall.
But I hate advocate for other people. Listen, you don't know what those people have been through and what that music has done for them. When I first met you and you was like, oh yeah, like my favorite, like, artist right now is Travis Scott. I looked at you dumb crazy. Like, there's so many other like people in the world to be like, you know, all over about. And that's the person you choose. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was looking at you like, I don't understand why this person would be like your fate. Like, he ain't talking about nothing really. Like, sounds really sad all the time. Like, he should do something about that. But like, that was just my perception of that music in that time and, you know, blah, 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 blah. But he does something for you. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think that there's anything wrong with somebody just doing something for you, right? And just wanting to follow their career. There are people where I'm just happy that they're still working and they're collecting a check. Like, I like genuinely like will see an actress or whatever and be like, oh my God. And if you're having a podcast, like, yay for you. I'm very happy for you. The quality of that podcast really don't have nothing to do with me, to be honest, because if it does it for people, then it does it for people. As long as it's not harmful, that's the only thing that I would preface that with. Like, if you're not doing any harm, fuck it, let them do it. But you know how I feel.
Man, listen. All I'm gonna say is, y'all motherfuckers better not come around acting like y'all was with us when we start to get to like, when we get our blue check and shit.
But they will, and I'm gonna love every last one of them.
I'm telling you right now, it's one-sided love. There's one half of this screen. That's where you're getting love from.
How are you gonna be mad that more people recognize us? Yeah, you get them on nerves.
It is, bro. Like, oh.
Anywho, are you done? You done? You finished?
I'm done.
All right, cool.